Hello everyone and welcome back to another Satisfactory video. In today's episode we'll be looking at power. Now we'll start off where everyone will start off, and that is the biomass burner. So what is a biomass burner and what is electricity and how does power work? We'll look at all of those in today's video. Now the biomass burner is basically a thing that burns biomass. Now what constitutes as biomass? If you look here at the top right, you'll know that there's relevant items. Now all of these items can be burned within the biomass burner and then used to turn into electricity. Now what I'll show you here is that the different types produce different types or levels of power or consumption. So if you use leaves, you need 120 leaves per minute. If you want to use wood would need 18 per minute. Then you go down to biomass, which is 10 per minute, and then we get all the way to solid biofuel. So those are the different types of fuels that you can use, as well as the raw carcass and alien carapace. Now just to show you exactly how this works and how quickly it runs out, I've set up this little setup here. Each one of those contain 9. Now if we go back here and look, you'll notice that it only shows 9 left, or I loaded 10 because one is already in there. And if you look at this grid on here, it will show you that it will burn one every 0.5 seconds. So if you go to this side, every 3.3 seconds and so forth. So right here at the end, every 15 seconds or 4 per minute, it will burn one of these solid biofuels at max capacity. So how does power work and how do you connect it? So let's start off with the basics. Once you've got your power biomass burner loaded, let's add some biomass to this one, and I'll get to the biomass now. Is once you've loaded all that, you'll notice that this has no connection. So if I want to get power off this, I need to add a power line. Now there's two ways to do this. You can either directly power from this power source, which is the biomass burner, to whatever building, and you see these little things at the top here, that is the connection points for the power lines. So if I connect this directly, that biomass burner will only supply this constructor here. But that isn't the way that we normally use these. So what is the correct way to use this? Normally what you do is you put down a power pole, and once you've put down a power pole, we'll put one down here, you can then connect the power pole and the power line together using a power line, and now this one can take 3 more connections. And if I now take this one and I add it to this, I can also take this one and add it to that constructor over there. But we're not going to do that. We're going to use this sample. So in this scenario, I've got 4 power lines going into the 4 different biomass burners, each going into one pole, and those 2 poles going into another pole. So now I've got 3 connections. And let's talk about the next part, which is the consumption part. Now if you click on any part, so any power pole, you'll bring up this bar here. Now this will give you consumption, capacity, production, and max consumption. And it's pretty self-explanatory. The consumption is what you're currently consuming. Nothing is consuming anything. What your production is within the whole system. So if one of these ran out of fuel, the production would drop. The capacity is 120 megawatts, and the max consumption is 0 because we haven't started anything on. Now if I connect this guy to the system as well, before we connect that, let's just look at this. This one will now have a capacity of 30 megawatt. So if we connect those two together, this pole and this pole, now this one should read 150 megawatts, and this one should read 150 megawatt, and so is any other pole connected to this grid. Now you can have separate grids, or you can connect your whole grid onto one single grid and use switches. Switches is something we'll cover in a later episode, but switches is something that you can switch on and off the grid at will, or just If you want to break the connection between a grid, just remove the power line and you've removed it. Now I want to remove this power line, and what I'm going to do now is I am going to connect these two constructors and show you exactly how to make some biofuel. So you saw the biofuel on the biomass that I've made. Now that's a recipe that you can get from the craft bench. Now on the craft bench, under the biomass, what you get is you can make biomass from leaves, from wood, alien carapace, and alien organs, and then also mycelia. And then you get solid biofuel, which requires the biomass. So one of the things that you don't want to sit and do is craft these things up. So let me just show you. Crafting biomass from leaves is pretty quick. You just hold the craft button, and if you hold space and click somewhere else, you can actually get it to auto craft for you. But that just crafts the biomass pretty quickly. Once you get to solid biofuel, and you can see we can craft 140, this takes quite a while. So even though each one of these will give us a minute, this takes way too long. So my suggestion is automate the whole process, and as soon as you can, get yourself a chainsaw and cut down trees to get both wood and leaves. Now what I've done here is I've set up this constructor with this, so we can now select, we want to turn our leaves into biomass, and once we load this, we'll load in some leaves, those will start loading in, and then this one will turn our biomass into solid biofuel. So from the selection we go solid biofuel. Now I'm going to preload this guy as well, because what we're now going to do is we will be, you can see that one is already going, and that one should be going soon. Now as soon as that happens, you'll notice that we now have our max consumption is 8 megawatts and our capacity is still 120 megawatts. But now comes the main thing on, not all the fuel will be used up at the same time. It depends on the load on the system. So you can see this is taking a bit longer than 0.5 seconds. You see it actually stopped there because it doesn't need to burn that fuel anymore. But we're down to 7 or 6 leaves on this one, and on this one we're still with our same wood fuel we're still producing. With this one we should still have 9 biomass left, and with this one it should barely have touched it. So you can see you don't use that per minute. It depends if this is running at 100% capacity. So if we were running this thing alone to fuel one of these, it would probably run out of leaves pretty quickly because we would do 100%. And this is, like I said, this is something that as you go around right at the start of the game, stop crafting up your leaves into your biofuel and your biofuel into, just set this up. It's pretty quick to do, and right at the end you can just come and grab 36 solid biofuel while you're going out and building the factory as you should. And trust me, you're gonna hear a horrible sound pretty soon. Now what I'm gonna do is the next part to show you how to switch the system on again. So what I'm now doing is I'm relieving all of these burners, disconnecting them from the system. And what I'm now going to do is just connect the one with the leaves. So now what we'll see is these leaves are being burnt a lot faster. And you can see we've just run out of fuel, and we now have no power because there is no fuel. Now the whole factory is dead. Now something that you have to do, and if you actually look on this part here, you'll see that there's nothing being produced on this. It is dead. It is completely dead. If I now add more biofuel in here, this is going to start up, and there you go. Now we can go on and it should just run no problem whatsoever. So you can see that you need to build quite a few of these in the start of the game to split out the load, and just by adding a few poles and splitting off from that, you can lessen the amount and increase your capacity, because running out of biofuel is pretty bad. Now just a side note, when you start off with your main building has it unlocks 2 of these biofuel biofuel burners, biomass burners, right next to it on the side. So you already have 2 of them. That's pretty early game that you don't need to build. Use those like pretty close to where you start off with, and they use the same fuel and work on the same principle as the normal biomass burners. But guys, that is biomass burners and powers as a start. We'll be covering more advanced power consumption or power buildings in later videos. Let me know if you've got any questions. Let me know, like the video if you liked what you saw. Subscribe if you want to see more of this. See you in the next time. Zombie Vega.